21 minutes to the top of the hour. It's my hope that your day is coming up well. Welcome on board. This is Newsfeed and my name is Linda Alela. So much lined up for you in the world of news, and we kickstart right here as we take you to the roads. And as political campaigns hate and the public is put to caution to avoid overloaded vehicles and also boarding unroadworthy vehicles for their safety. This is according to the NTSA and the National Police Service. Now the government spokesperson is currently leading an operation at Gilgil, and let's now cross over there where Willie Dennis Njeru is to give us more updates. Willie Dennis Njeru, if you can hear me.
Yes, indeed, as you said it. Thank you very much, Linda. Coming to you live from the Naivasha-Nakuru highway. We are at Gilgil, at one of the terminals as you get into Gilgil town, where, as you said, the government is taking in safety measures to ensure that as we head on to this period where we are having the campaigns, that the locals and wherever the campaigns are happening, there's safety to everybody. Truth be told, we have seen instances and incidences where we've lost lives to such unroadworthy vehicles. But without taking much time, I have with me the government spokesperson here with me, who is going to be shedding us light on what exactly is happening today.
Do it that way. I'm sorry. We have to start with the police who are here. Okay. Yes. So there is procedure to be followed. Right. So we'll start the...
Right, sawa. Madam, unaweza jitambulisha kwa jina lako alafu ueleze nini kinaendelea. Tuko moja kwa moja TV47.
Yeah. Okay. See, we are live, but let's be orderly, okay? Yes.
Okay. My name is Dorothy Muleke Mboya. I'm the staff officer, traffic, Rift Valley region. What I would like to say is that of late we have realized an increase in traffic crashes, and there are a few things that are leading to this. Being a campaign period, there are things that we have noticed that we would like us to look into and try and change. I want to urge those who are vying, those who have campaigners out there, that there are things that they're doing that is not right. They have vehicles that they are putting excess people, their supporters hanging on doors, climbing on roofs of vehicles. They also have this other thing that they've been doing of late, concealing their number plates and even changing the number plates. You know, the number plate is the identity of that motor vehicle that you're using. So you're not allowed at any cost to cover the number plate of your vehicle, because we really need to identify that vehicle in case anything happens. Another thing is that causing obstruction, unnecessary obstruction. When you're doing your campaigns, make sure that you find places that have space. Do not obstruct other motorists. Yeah, because this can lead to accidents like what happened somewhere the other day, and all of you know that. Don't obstruct. Get a space and do your campaigns there. Another thing that you're also not supposed to do is that you're not supposed to have drunk drivers. Most of the drivers that are driving these campaign vehicles are drunk. Most of the time are drunk. And you know, you are not allowed to drink and drive. So if you know that the person who is driving your campaign vehicle is drunk, get an alternate driver for that. And I also want to urge the public service motor vehicle drivers. Make sure that your vehicles are duly inspected, because most of these vehicles that are applying these routes do not have speed governors. Like you drive behind a vehicle and it's moving at 100, 120, 140 kilometers per hour. You're putting the lives of the passengers in those vehicles at risk. Apart from that, there are other things. As a motorist or as the person using a vehicle, a public service vehicle, you're supposed to give a shout out in case your driver is overspeeding. In case the driver is drunk, do not allow him to drive. And do not get into a vehicle that is already full. There are many vehicles. Wait for the other one that is coming next and use that and use it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're still on air, so we could have a brief from you. Kindly.
Very well. Thank you so much. I pressed for time. But in addition to what Madam Dorothy had just said, is that we're losing far too many people on highway crashes. Statistically, up to now, from January, we've lost over 2,200 people. Compared to the same period last year, same time, we had lost about 2,050. Today, we are talking about 2,200. So already you can see that the numbers are going up so much. We don't want to get to a point whereby we're losing 5,000 of Kenyans. Last year, the whole of last year, we lost around 4,597 people. Now, up to now, from last year up to this time, we are talking about almost 7,000. Now, those are numbers that if you multiply by, the figures that every household or every individual takes care of about 5 people, then you can imagine, therefore, that it is 7,000 times 5. We're talking about 35,000 Kenyans. And therefore, it is important for us to understand that these highway crashes really are causing a lot of losses to our country. Families are becoming destitute. Their children cannot go to school because the breadwinner has died on a road accident. There are those that spend so much time in hospital being treated, and all their family savings are used in terms of in terms of treating them. And therefore, it is important for us as a nation to be able to take this matter very, very seriously. We have always advised that let's not be reckless on the road. Most of these accidents we're talking about are happening because of issues to do with behavior and attitude. Our attitude on the roads are a bit wanting, and we are asking the whole, of our people, all our people, to be able to be courteous on the road, to be cautious on the road, and to be mindful of other road users. If we are all to do that, then be able to bring, the number of road accidents or highway crashes down.
Perhaps a question, is it just a cautionary measure, or you're going to be having crackdowns?
A crackdown has always been there. NT has been carrying a campaign that has been running for the last almost 2 months now, and the police are always carrying crackdown. Every time there are crackdowns. But we're saying that even with the police crackdown, we must be people who are able to understand the importance of obeying highway code or highway regulation. Because a crackdown will be done here in Gilgil, but if they are passed here, then they overspeed their radar. And therefore, what is critical really is for us as a people to understand that our family needs us, we need our friends, we also need our lives, so that we can be able to continue to provide for our families. Many of our people are dying needlessly. We don't need to die. Madam Dorothy just mentioned about campaigns where people hang on vehicles, and you wonder why somebody who is sane enough would be able to do that. So what we are asking even members of the press is to pass the message of trying to teach our people, to educate our people about the importance of obeying highway regulations, obeying speed limits. The other day, about 4-5 days ago, there was an accident on Nairobi Expressway, a very, very new road with speed limits, and that vehicle must have been moving at about 200 kilometers an hour. Yet the speed limit there is 80 kilometers an hour. So why that happens, honestly, it beats logic. And therefore we are appealing to our people that we must be able to obey highway regulations, highway code, so that we can get home safely. We don't want to get home in coffins.
Thank you very much. Linda, as you've heard it there, it is the safety of every Kenyan to ensure that it is good for you, it is good for me as we use the roads. And as we carry on with the campaigns, it is rightful that we make sure that the safety of every family counts, because we are headed to the election, but it is not paramount that we lose life at such a critical time. This is part of the news we are going to be doing, to be taking you in a subsequent bulletin later on this afternoon and in the evening. And I take it back to you, Linda, in studio to continue with the bulletin.
Well, Dennis Njiru right there in, Gilgil, alongside the government spokesperson, as they look at the importance of making sure that as a people we maintain road safety. And really, as you have rightfully put it, we're looking forward for more updates on that campaign. Now, tonight, supporters of Kenya Kwanza will be hearing for the very first time what their leaders will be offering if they will take up the government after the August polls. Kenya Kwanza leaders are expected to launch their manifesto later this evening, and now we are joined by our reporter Apollo Kamau with the latest details on the launch. Apollo, if you can hear me, kindly bring us up to speed.
Linda, good afternoon. We are here at the Kasarani National Stadium, here at the gymnasium, where the Kenya Kwanza fraternity is awaiting this day eagerly, because it's the launch of the manifesto, a day that comes after years, months, weeks of touring the country and selling their economic agenda anchored on the bottom-up economic model. So it all boils down here in Kasarani, and if my cameraman Shadrach can pan, you can be able to see it's an invited-only event for corporates, for technocrats, for government officials, for political leaders who will be joining others here and members of the media fraternity just to hear this economic blueprint. What does it have in store for Kenyans as far as the economic agenda is concerned? Remember, if you have been following the Deputy President in his many tours across the country, it has all been about the economy and focusing on economic revival, focusing on the stimulation of the economy, focusing on lifting the so-called million of hustlers from abject poverty. And therefore, when he comes here, he will spell out his agenda, which we understand is anchored on 5 pillars. And one of the issues is the cost of living. Remember, there has been a lot of hue and cry on the cost of living. The prices of basic commodities like maize flour, wheat flour, bread, sugar has skyrocketed, and therefore when he comes here at 6:30 or 7 thereabout, when he is expected to address, he will spell the agenda on how he will address the cost of living. Another major issue has been the issue of small businesses and the hustlers' businesses. Remember, he has established a hustlers fund, which is worth 50 billion shillings. This hustler fund will be shared out between women and the youth. So people need to be convinced that this is something that will become reality if he takes over government come August 9. For example, when he met the women, when he was signing the Women Charter, he promised women they will get half of the fund to start their small businesses or finance their small businesses. There's also the issue of the youth. Just a few days ago, he did meet the youth at the Nyeri National Stadium. He had the agenda. They are also part of his agenda, and we do expect they will be infused into this economic blueprint. Remember also there is the issue of agriculture. Agriculture, he has spoken in the campaigns about subsidizing the cost of farm inputs and reducing fertilizer prices. The issue of maize has also been nagging and causing a lot of concern to the farmers. This is something which is also going to be part of this agenda. So if you compare this, it's more of along the same line with what Azimio gave on June 6th, because there's also the issue of affordable health care, universal health care for all. It's also going to be part of this plan. And therefore, after this, Linda, Kenyans will be able to sift and be able to pick out who has the best interest for them. So for Kenya Kwanza, this is a key highlight moment. It's a moment the fraternity's hustlers will be waiting to hear what the Deputy President has moving forward. Remember, we are in the final stretch. The campaigns are entering the home stretch, and therefore this is a key moment for him to sell his agenda, not just to the millions of hustlers who subscribe to his agenda, but also to corporates, business people who are very concerned, given this election will be driven by the issue of the economy. The economic agenda has taken the forefront agenda as far as this election is concerned, Linda.
Well, Apollo, I know it's a beehive of activities right there as we are eagerly waiting. This is not just for the Kenya Kwanza supporters. It cuts across every other Kenyan, because in the event that Kenya Kwanza then ascends to power, it is about the next government that will take us through the next dispensation, and therefore a conversation that is worth. And I mean, I'm sure that all Kenyans are eagerly waiting to get that manifesto that will walk along that one of WAJACKOYA that as well was supposed to present this to the people of Kenya. And So you can be sure, or you can trust TV47 to give you updates on all this, and as Apollo is right there to make sure that we get all these updates. So later on our subsequent bulletins, we get answers to that. But on this very note, we take a short break and then we come back with more news.
Despite being visually impaired, he is a jack of all trades. It is our quest to find answers on how to take care of children with special needs and those with disability. You do not need to see musical notes to understand music, but rather to have your soul feel the vibe.
Actually, for us to make a wheelchair, we have to take measurements of the user.
After doing my assessment, I get to know the parent, I get to know the heaviness she's carrying.
Disability comes at different stages of life.
Well, do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates. Baraza la Siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, angalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
Informative health discussions. Business, farming. Tasty Wednesday, Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs,
waimbaji, kuna comedians, alafu kuna wajinga,
and music bands every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. The next set of millionaires are farmers. As we know, agriculture has been and still is the backbone of our economy. As we traverse the different counties to meet different farmers, we ensure to get the story of how they started farming and even how they continue to penetrate the market and overcome the challenges.
Hapa, the reason why nilieka goose na si ducks. Goose, they are very easy to maintain.
A lot of farmers keep on calling, inquiring whether you're supposed to raise some seeds in the nursery or you're supposed to do them directly in the field.
The greenhouse helps us to control the temperature because the temperature needs to be between 28 to 32 degrees.
Walk this journey with us every Sunday at 6:30 p.m. It's no secret, construction ain't cheap. But how do we make it affordable?
Tuchukue wakulima tuhakikisha kwamba tunawasaidia kwenye ile tunaita guaranteed minimum return, ndio wanapata faida kwa kazi yao. Tumepanga mpango kama mimi gavana wa Kiambu anayetafuta hii kazi. Nimepanga manifesto yangu ya kwamba nitafungulia watu wa Kiambu People's Bank kufuata utaratibu kama ule uliona ulifuatiwa na bank kama Equity. Bank zingine kama Family Bank walianza hivyo. Bank ndogo hata kama ile unaona inaitwa Unitas wamekuwa wanasaidia watu wao mpaka dakika ya mwisho wanaendelea na kukua benki kubwa. Tunasemaje? Ikiwa ni watu wa Kiambu tukiwaanzisha kwa njia kama hiyo, sisi tunawapatia pesa ambazo zinawasaidia kujimudu, tutainua maisha ya watu wa Kiambu. Na ndio nasema sisi kwenye mpangilio wa bottom up. Hiyo ndio njia ya kupindua hii nchi yetu.
Hasa tukiingia katika kaunti ya Kiambu, ni mambo gani hasa mngetaka yaguziwe katika manifesto ya chama cha UD ambayo yatanufaisha wakaaji wa Kiambu?
Kwetu ya muhimu, hii kaunti yetu ya Kiambu, 60% ya uchumi wetu ni wakulima, ni ukulima. Na kwa hivyo tukiangazia ya mwanzo ukulima, tutakuwa tumesaidia watu wengi. Na vile manifesto ile ya chama chetu cha UDA tayari ilikuwa kwa mazungumzo, na kwenye zile chata tumetengeneza kwa vikao vya Economic Forum, tulizungumzia sana ya kwamba tunataka wakulima wetu wapatiwe nafasi ya kuwa wanashikiliwa na serikali kuu wakati wananunua vitu vyao vya ukulima, basi hao watakuwa wamejimudu. La pili ni kuwa sisi ni wanabiashara ndogo ndogo wengi, sisi ni watu wa small and micro enterprises. Kukiwa sisi kwenye ile manifesto, tutakuwa tunaangaliwa na kuweza kushikiliwa, ndio watu wa biashara ndogo ndogo wapatiwe jinsi ya kupata msaada, ambapo wanapata loan ambazo hazina interest ya juu, ama pesa zimetengwa kando, kama zile mkuu wetu amekuwa anatangaza ile 50 billion, ile Hustlers Revolving Fund. Hiyo ndio njia ya kuinua hao watu wetu wenye biashara ndogo ndogo.
Kiambu Senator who seeks the gubernatorial position right there, speaking of what their expectations are as to the manifesto. And as well in that very business, Nandi residents have expressed their expectations on this very manifesto by Kenya Kwanza, which is expected to be launched today. Chris Bett is in Nandi and he joins us to tell us more. Chris.
Well, Linda, today the Kenya Kwanza coalition is expected to launch their manifesto, and I'm here in Nandi County just to find out what are the expectations of the residents here concerning the Kenya Kwanza coalition manifesto today. Hujambo, karibu sana. Hebu tueleze tu wewe, matarajio yako ni gani wakati Kenya Kwanza watakapotoa manifesto yao siku ya leo?
Matarajio yetu, tunatarajia Kenya Kwanza watusaidie kwa bei ya mafuta. Tuko na shida na bei ya mafuta, chakula, kila kitu yenye tunatumia yani. Sasa hiyo ndio tunaomba watu waangalie kabisa kwa hii Nandi County. Tuko na shida ya mafuta ya kupikia na kila kitu, chakula ya kukula. Sasa tungeomba hao wakumbuke sisi, kwa maana sisi tuko na shida sana kwa Nandi County. Hiyo ndio nilikuwa nayo. Asante.
Jina langu ni Ernest Kavai, ambaye amefanya kazi katika University of Nairobi miaka 30, lakini wakati alipokuja retire, mambo ya mashamba imetuletea shida, na haya tunashindwa tuko Kenya au tuko wapi. Ndio tunatarajia yule atakapoingia afanye mambo yake, mashamba inapeanwa, yani title deeds zinapeanwa kwa mtu ambaye anasema ilikuwa ya babu ya baba yake, na tunataka uongozi yule utakwako uwe wa amani, kurudishia mtu mashamba. Kama sisi wengine tuko barabarani, tunakaa barabarani miaka sasa ni karibu miaka 5, na mtu ulinunua shamba kutoka mwaka wa 64. Kwa hivyo Wakenya, wale viongozi, mujali masilahi yetu sisi ambao tunanyanyaswa na matajiri ambao wako nazo. Kwa hivyo serikali yetu ambaye inaanza mpya, mujaribu kutuangalia sisi ambao hatujiwezi. Tunashukuru kwa yule atakayoingia ajaribu kutuonyesha maendeleo iendelee. Tuko barabarani na tunateseka. Hali ya uchumi imekuwa ghali. Watoto wajukuu wote hawasomi. Kwa hivyo serikali tuamuomba yule atakayeingia atusaidie sisi wanyonge, na tunakubali uchaguzi uwe wa amani. Asante.
Asante sana. Karibu tena ndugu, tuelezee tu jina lako na tueleze matarajio yako ni yapi?
Asante sana. Asante sana. Majina yangu naitwa Robert Kipiwot. Mimi ni mkaaji wa eneo ya Nandi, na kitu yenye ningeonelea katika siku ya leo niongelelee ni kuhusu vitu imekuwa bei kali. Tukinunua vitu kwa duka tumewekwa bei kali, kama mahindi na chakula imekuwa bei kali, na tunaona kitu ya maana wabadilishe hii manifesto ili tuendelee kupata kazi ambaye tunaweza nunua vitu, tunaweza somesha watoto waende shule, na tunasaidia wenye wajiwezi. Na mimi nashukuru sana. Asanteni sana. Mungu awabariki.
Well, Linda, as you've heard, those are the expectations of Nandi County residents who have touched on several issues concerning the Kenya Kwanza manifesto, saying that when they will be issuing or launching their manifesto, they should talk of the issue of land injustices and also the high cost of living. From me here, Chris Bate in Nandi County, I take it back to you in studio, Linda.
Well, Chris Beth, thank you so much for the update all the way from Nandi. Now, residents in Nyeri town have gone to the streets to demonstrate over the high cost of living in the country. During the peaceful demos, they want the current government to work on reducing the cost of basic needs, starting with food. Olo Horace is on standby from Nyeri County with the details. Olo.
Thank you so much and good afternoon from Nyeri County. Currently at Nyeri town, where we are currently having residents in this town on demos. They are demonstrating against the high cost of lives which is being experienced across the country. And with me here, I'm having a section of them. Maybe if you can just start with the name, tell us you are in the street from like 2 hours ago. What's wrong?
My name is Asha Jama. I'm from Nyeri County, from a village called Vajengo. I'm in town demonstrating on high price of food stuff. We people in the slums actually are not get right food at the right time. We have kids in the house, we have all elderly, we have disabled, we have children, and we have other things among. If we continue on food, on high prices, we cannot make us to go and make a vote during the voting day, because people will be very weak and people will not make it, and that might boycott the elections.
We are going to the elections. What do you have to tell the outgoing government?
What I would like to tell the outgoing government is they were unable to feed us. So if the incoming government is going to be there, we need food price to go at a very low cost, whereby raia waweze kushiba na waweze kufanya kazi zao. Hivi sasa maisha ni mazito, watu wanalala njaa. Especially, let us look at the elderly. Let us look at the people who are having special cases, like cancer, diabetes. People with diabetes cannot stay without food. So please, we are requesting the incoming government that is going to come in to have the food price to go down so that it can feed its nation. It's a very big shame if a government cannot feed its nation.
Okay, let us talk to this one. Nakuona uko na unga hapa kaka. Okay. Wacha tuongee na nani? Tuongee na nani hapa? Okay, wacha tuongee na kaka. Kaka wewe ni kijana. Life, how has it been to you as a resident of Nyeri County?
Okay, my name is Boniface Washira. We have been faced due to our stomach because they are empty. So mimi naomba serikali ipunguze bei ya unga. Ndio hata tuweze kutokea kuchaguana. Kama haitashukishwa, sisi tutagoma kutokea. Kama vijana tutatokea kuchaguana. Yeah, because we have nothing and we will be hungry. Okay. And we consider the elderly too.
Okay. Sawa, acha tuongee na huyu madini. Mami, ukikutana na sahi na ule mwaniaji wa urais mwenye unataka kuwe rais, ungemwambia nini sahi?
Sasa mimi naweza mwambia siku hizi kuna shida mingi sana. Unga ishapanda. Sisi ni mahaswa. Ile kazi tunapata tuseme ni ya 100 kuosha. Hauna mboga, hauna nini. Hata kuchaguana itakuwa ni shida. Nyumba ndizo zile tulipanga. Maji tunanunuanga. Utanunua unga na watoto wamekungoja. Saizi shule zimefungwa na labda una watoto 5. Utanunua unga ya 100 ama 250 na una mpaka mboga. Tutafanyaje duniani? Sisi hatukuja siasa ya nini ya wabunge, tumekuja siasa ya unga ipunguzwe.
Okay, thank you so much. And as you've heard, hakuna kupiga kura kama hakuna unga. That is not my word. Those are not my words. But from residents here, and as we've heard, they are crying for the government to look into the cost of basic needs, so that maybe they can have a bit easy time dealing with the current life. From Nyeri County, my name is Olo Horace.
Well, Olo, thank you so much for that. Quite an unfortunate occurrence, but such is what is of the country today as government seeks to address the same. Now, presidential aspirant, that is WAIHIGA MWAURE, has claimed that Kenya is losing about 500 billion every year. He has also indicated that he will set a Truth and Justice Commission to recover the stolen money. Speaking to journalists a few minutes ago, MWAURE has said that he will ensure that our debt is paid in one day.
Office due to incapacity to perform the functions of the office of the president. How then, we ask, do we allow somebody to run for office only to go through the laborious process of remove from office upon election? Some of my competitors no sooner, and if by rigging they are elected, we have enough material that will start a process of having them removed from office. Why do we want to go through that? I urge the IBC chairman Wafula Chebukati to immediately constitute a panel of eminent psychiatrists to ascertain the mental states of this individual. If found to be of unsound mind of these individuals, they should be accorded the best medical attention possible. However, if found to be of sound mind, then they should be arrested and charged in court of law for willfully planning to commit a felony and promoting a felony. Either way, such candidates goes against the letter and spirit of our electoral system, our laws, our faith, and our founding dreams. It should be cancelled sooner than later. I will be ending very soon, and I say, there's a story about a man who stole a pair of trousers. When the judge asked him, why did you do so? He replied that he did it for a joke. The judge said to him, he had taken the joke too far. Electing a fellow threatening to turn Kenya into an opium den is a joke taken too far. All this happens in the full glare of governmental provided security. Is that because I do not encourage our children to smoke the joint that I'm denied the level of government security as a presidential candidate that I see with my competitors? A presidential election should be a contest of ideas, not an opportunity to parade our private vices and to hype our youth. Our youth are looking for hope. This nation wants hope. This nation wants total change. I'll be bringing that. I'm also concerned about the glorification of what I call bootleg economic policies. I have nothing against what my competitors are saying, bottom up, trickle down, and all that, or any other. I believe they are doing how far the ideas can take them. If you take an economic policy like the bottom up, it's supposed to represent the mama.
Well, more updates on that later on. At this very moment, again, we take a quick break and we come back with more.
You are watching.
Despite being visually impaired, he is a jack of all trades. It is our quest to find answers on how to take care of children with special needs and those with disability. You do not need to see musical notes to understand music, but rather to have your soul feel the vibe.
Actually, for us to make a wheelchair, we have to take measurements of the user.
After doing my assessment, I get to know the parent, I get to know the heaviness she's carrying.
Disability comes at different stages of life.
How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates. Baraza la Siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, angalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
Informative health discussions. Business, farming. Tasty Wednesday, Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs,
waimbaji, kuna comedians, alafu kuna wajinga.
and music bands every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m.
The KICC, the manifesto, stamping some of the promises that he has been promising Kenyans throughout his campaign trails in the country. WAJACKOYA has promised to suspend the constitution for 6 months, legalize bank to help settle Kenya's debt, encourage snake farming and exporting dog meat, as well as set up a social protection fund for all pregnant women. WAJACKOYA has also promised to hang all corrupt individuals in the event that he wins the August 9 presidential polls. Let's take a look at that. Now, with 39 days to the August 9 polls, Kenyans continue to gear up for the polls. However, the election preparedness debate continues, and it elicits discussion on whether the use of biometric voter register complemented with the manual one during the polls day is important. We are now joined live by our reporter Boniface Baraza, who is speaking to Kenyans to get their reaction on this never-ending debate.
Good afternoon, Linda Lel, and we're coming to you live from Sibanga Charangani constituency, Trans Nzoia County. Today we are keeping an eye on the election preparedness, whereby the latest move was yesterday. In yesterday IBC meeting with all the presidential candidates, whereby we saw there was a standoff with Kenya Kwanza Alliance presidential candidate and the team being in support for the biometric voter register to be adopted come August 9 polls, whereas there's MWAURE led by Raila Amolo Odinga, who's the presidential candidate, pushing for a backup for manual register to act as a backup come August 9 election, so that it gives a chance to all those voters who probably their fingerprints might fail to be captured, or their status might fail to be captured using their fingerprint. And we're joined by the locals here, and just first, introduce yourself and tell us. We have seen the standoff whereby Kenya Kwanza saying they embrace the biometric voter register, yet Azimio la Umoja want the manual to be adopted.
Oh, my name's Vitalis, Engineer Vitalis Wamalwa Kisongochi, MP candidate, Cherangani constituency. I just want to say IEBC is doing it right, doing it in a good way. Ningependa kusema ya kwamba IEBC izingatie hivyo, kwa sababu tumefanya nominations, imeonekana imefanya tu vizuri, na tumeona kwamba IEBC inaendelea kufanya kazi sawa sawa, na hatungependa muingilio wowote kutoka kwa pengine players wengine. Kwa hivyo tungependa tu iendelee kusimama na huo msimamo hadi itoe uchaguzi ulio bora.
Do you think the biometric way will streamline the electoral process in Kenya?
I think it will streamline the elections in Kenya.
To what extent?
I can't tell that one because I'm a player in it, so I can't tell that one.
Being a player who is seeking an elective seat, are you satisfied with the whole process in terms of election preparedness?
Yes, I'm satisfied. What IEBC is doing it openly, and I'm getting it right. It is doing it well.
What is your message to those quotas or to that quota that is dissatisfied with the biometric voter register?
My message is that let us accept what IEBC is giving us. Let us let them do what they are doing, and let the winner take it. Because if we start to talk ill about it, then we are doing nothing. Yeah.
Thank you. Let's also engage voters here. Move closer, my brother. Tuambie majina yako, wewe binafsi. Tunaona Azimio wanasema kwamba sisi tunataka sajili ile ya kawaida, ile tunasema fiscal register. Then Kenya Kwanza wanasema wanataka ile biometric. Wewe kama mpiga kura mwanzo umeridhishwa na maandalizi ya uchaguzi?
Yes, mimi niko kwa majina naitwa Kevin Okola, na mimi nasema ya kwamba IEBC wamejipanga vilivyo. Mimi nimeridhishwa vile IEBC wamejipanga, kwa sababu wenyewe wanajua kwamba kazi yao ilikuwa inafaa wafanye kazi gani. Sasa wanapoambia wale makandidate ya kwamba wameshajipanga kwa njia hii, tusianze tena kusukumana, kwa sababu nao wanavuta njia yao. Wanataka pande hii kwe tutumie makaratasi na pande hii wanataka tutumie mtandao. IEBC wenyewe ifanye kazi yao, waachie kazi yao, wafanye vile wenyewe walishajipanga.
Thank you. Move here closer. We coming live. You're live on TV47. And we're focusing on issues to do with election preparedness. Yesterday we saw the standoff whereby Kenya Kwanza saying we're better off or we are comfortable with biometric voter register. Yet Azimio la Umoja are pushing for manual register to be adopted as a backup for biometric. What is your take?
Okay, mimi maoni yangu na support Azimio la Umoja. Manual naona iko sawa.
Sawa. Maoni yako kwa kifupi?
Kwa majina mimi naitwa Kibiego, na mimi ningesema waachie IEBC ifanye kazi yao, kwa sababu IEBC tulioweka hapo wanajua mandate yenye wanafanya. So kama watatumia manyo ama watatumia hii nyingine, hiyo ni jukumu ya IEBC. So wewe ambaye unasimama usikuwa na hofu ukianza kusema ati ni unataka hii na hii na hii. Wewe kitu na mimi naomba watu wote ambao wanakombea viketi zote waingie waombe kura kwa wananchi, waachie IEBC kazi yao.
Thank you. You've had it clear from the locals here. Our voters will turn up in large number come August 9 election just to exercise their democratic right in terms of the continuing standoff whereby Kenya Kwanza are pushing for biometric voter register, yet Azimio la Umoja want the biometric voter register to be backed up by the manual register. It is an issue that we continue to keep an eye, and we'll be updating our viewers in our subsequent bulletin. Over to you, Linda Lela.
Thank you so much, Boniface Baraza, for that. As we all are aware, that played out yesterday in the meeting of IEBC alongside the presidential candidates, and IEBC giving a nod to that, saying that they will have the register as a backup plan. But then again, being our case that is in court, we wait to see what happens. The electorate of MVITA constituency will this afternoon meet all the aspirants for the Member of Parliament seat through a debate. Now, the aspirants are expected to share their manifestos with the public, as well as get an opportunity to be interrogated by the electorates ahead of the August general election. Our reporter Patronila Goren is joining us live from Mombasa to bring us up to speed. Patronila, good afternoon. Kindly enlighten us.
Thank you very much, Linda Alela. Good afternoon to you and our viewers countrywide. And as you have stated, yes, we are coming to you live from Mombasa. And at the moment, we are at the Star of the Sea Social Hall, where any moment from now, a debate for Member of Parliament aspirants from MVITA constituency are expected to be here and also engage the members of public and rather voters from the constituency, and also share the their manifestos with them. And this debate is not only one-sided, but the members of public will also be given an opportunity to ask questions, to interrogate them, and also at the end of the day, they can be able to make a clear judgment of what they hope they can decide on the aspirants who they wish to vote for in the August elections. And just to let our viewers know is that this seat has been is being contested by more than 10 aspirants, and they're hoping to succeed the current member of parliament from MVITA constituency, who is Abdul Swamad Sharif Nasir, who is currently vying for the gubernatorial seat for this county. But Linda, there is so much to talk about, but allow me to speak just to a few people that have already arrived here, members of the public and some of the leaders that have arrived, so that they can also share with us their expectations in regard to today's debate. Thank you very much. Could you kindly tell us your name and why you have decided to come here to attend this Member of Parliament from MVITA constituency debate?
My name is Awesa Abdushakur. Yeah? Okay, so my name is Awesa Abdushakur and I'm a candidate for MCA in Old Town mji wa Kale Kizingo Ward. Kwanza naweza kusema ni muhimu sana kwa sababu ni uhamasishaji. Awareness, kumeka awareness ya hii debate ni muhimu sana. Second thing, naweza sema kuna umuhimu wa mwananchi kwa sababu ya hii mdahalo kwamba kiongozi wananchi wa chini, mwananchi kwa jumla atambue, ajue ni kiongozi gani ambaye atakayemchagua kuongoza katika eneo ama katika county. Na jambo la tatu muhimu, tumeona kwamba maendeleo for the last 10 years katika hii MVITA county, MVITA constituency, sorry, kumekuwa na umorodoshaji wa maendeleo. KPA imepelekwa imehamishwa kwa Naivasha. Tukiangalia upande wa elimu ni basari tu zimepeana, na basari pia sio za kihakika. Upande wa elimu pia shule zimedorora, hakuna maendeleo. Upande wa infrastructure pia hakuna. So kuna haja sana mwananchi before aende kwa uchaguzi amjue kiongozi wake mwanzo anatokea wapi, kiwango chake cha elimu na amefanya nini kabla kuingia kwa uongozi. Jambo la pili pia asikilize manifesto yake kwa makini na kwa uzuri ili mwananchi akitoka pale awe na namna ya kutafakari na uamuzi wa kuchagua kiongozi. Last thing, this debate is very important kwa sababu pia inamweka katika wananchi. Na ni muhaja IBC waeke hizi debate, lakini pia tunashukuru mashirika mbalimbali kujitolea na mashirika ya habari, na wapongeza sana wanahabari, mashirika ya habari na mashirika ya sio kiserikali kuandaa midahalo kama haya.
Shukran sana.
Na pia ningeomba sisi kama MCA tuwekee mdahalo wetu ili tuuze sera zetu ukule mashinani viongozi tuchague. Asante sana.
Asante sana. Now Linda, I'll speak to one of the aspirants who is vying on per ticket. Kindly introduce yourself for the benefit of the viewer and tell us why you think such debates are important and why as an aspirant you've decided to come, because we know there are some people who decide not to attend.
All right. Hi viewers. My name is Said Toha Mohammed and I'm a member of National Assembly candidate here in MVITA. And today we are going to have a debate. I mean, the 16 of us, even though we've heard that some of us are not going to attend, that is upon them. Really, time has come for us to really understand and know. You see, over time we've been having leaders, but we've been having leaders who lack competency, who lack integrity, who are not accountable, who are not transparent. And these and many other virtues have been instilled in me since my upbringing and even in my banking profession for the last 15 years or so. So it's imperative that the people of MVITA should come and attend and get to hear us, get to hear about our manifesto and plans and agenda that we have in store for them.
Thank you. And maybe just to shed, could you kindly just shed a bit of light on maybe one of the key issues, because I've been attending some of the rallies that you've been having about your bigger picture from MVITA constituency. What is this main thing in your manifesto that you're hoping to share today?
I'm hoping to share, okay, I would really love to talk about education, because as Benjamin Franklin puts it, an investment in education pays the best return. So this is an area that has greatly been neglected here in MVITA. You will find that there are so many of schools that are in a dilapidated state. They are very old, yet there is no, yet we are competing with people who have state-of-art facilities. So I'm going to emphasize more on education. I'm going to emphasize more on the number of teachers teaching our students, you'll find that the demand is more than the supply. The teachers are very few, but then we have so many students to educate. You'll even find out that, for example, in classrooms, a class, according to Ministry of Education standards, a class has a maximum of students per class is supposed to be 50. But then you'll find that there are classes that are hosting even around 100 students, which is not okay, because out of the 100 students, how many are going to grasp that education?
Thank you very much. We'll continue to speak to you later on, even as the debate continues. Thank you for speaking to TV47. And now, Linda, those are just some of the views for different people that have already arrived here, but we'll be following this up. We know the MVITA constituency has 5 wards, and it has more than 118,000 voters that are registered. And yes, so we hope that probably most of them will come here to hear what these aspirants have, and they can also be able to make a clear judgment come 9th August during the general election. So Linda, we'll follow this up and bring it back to our viewers in our subsequent bulletin. Back to you, Linda.
Well, thank you so much, Patronila, for that. And indeed, we're looking forward to the updates. And as a result of limited employment, opportunities, that is 60% of the youth are looking for any job available, but at the same time have little knowledge of the opportunities available in the labor market. And as a result of this, Zizi Afrique and Values and Life Skills Working Group are advocating for the change or review of policies in the TVET sector so that they are designed to meet the market demands in the country.
When you look in the horizon, we have several needs, like for instance, data needs to inform TVET institutions on what to and where to invest in, which trainings to offer, but also how many students to train in which kind of career directions. They need to have a way of updating, getting updates from the skills demand from the employment so that they are able to adapt training. But also the data needs to inform employers and on which institutions especially to employ, from which institutions are training the kind of young employees they are looking for. And that dialogical relationship between trainers and employers, I think, is very critical. But also students, as I said, and also COOPs and HELP, those that are sponsoring. Data needs to inform employment seekers. You know, which county, for instance, to go to if you have trained for a certain course. If one was to know that maybe Marsabit is looking for this kind of skills, then you don't need to sit in Nairobi or Kisumu and complain, because then you'll have used data to know which town or which village to move to, where plumbers are required or where welders are required.
The fourth industrial revolution really requires that people have skills around computing, coding, programming, understanding of how the world works, the social media platforms, to be effective communicators across different platforms. And so it's critical and important that the technical and vocational training institutions prepare our young people for that market that's ahead, so that they can be able to get employment, both self-employment, but also formal employment.
And those going to national polytechnics as well as technical training institutions can actually get support in terms of loans. This is very good, and we applaud the government for that. However, we also know that more than half of those who go to TVET do not get that kind of support. And these are the people who go to the vocational training institutions, or VTCs, the former village polytechnics. These are many, and from our data, these are some of the poorest